What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Tonight we're doing a Smackdown review. We have the Smackdown roster meeting up backstage. Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode meet up with Roman Reigns, Shorty G, and Ali. They start to hype up the roster. Ali opens up the back door to the stadium. Roman Reigns says we gon' kick their ass. Then Sasha Banks shows up. She says that the women's division is going to be taking care of business right now. Sasha Banks and the Survivor Series women's team come out. Banks says this is our ring, our show. NXT doesn't have the guts after what happened last week, and then calls out Team Raw. Charlotte Flair comes out with Team Raw. Flair tells Banks, let's have a one-on-one just for old time's sake. Then Rhea Ripley and Team NXT come out and says let's have a captain versus captain match. After that, all three teams start to brawl. We come back to commercial with Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks. All three teams are sitting at ringside. Sasha Banks is quickly taken out of this match for a bit, which leaves Flair and Ripley to put on a really impressive showing. Sasha Banks runs in, starts taking it to Rhea Ripley. Flair gets Banks into the figure 8, but Rhea Ripley runs up underneath Flair, pulling her shoulders to the mat and getting the pin. That was actually pretty impressive. Team NXT starts walking up the ramp, leaving Team Raw and Team Smackdown in the ring to start fighting it out between each other. We then have Nakamura and Sami Zayn coming out. Zayn is carrying a black bag. He says that everybody is afraid of Shinsuke Nakamura, calls himself a stud, talks up Shinsuke Nakamura, and reveals what's in his bag, a new Intercontinental Title. This is the first redesign after I think like 8 years. I think Cody Rhodes brought back the classic IC title. I'm kind of mixed on how it looks. I kind of like the old design, so maybe, I don't know, this one will just have to grow on me, I guess. Sami Zayn goes on to run down Roderick Strong and AJ Styles. This, of course, brings out the Undisputed Era. They get into the ring. Sami Zayn pulls Shinsuke Nakamura out of the ring. Adam Cole gets on the microphone and says after War Games, they're going to wipe the floor with Team Raw and Team Smackdown. Then the New Day come out. They place down a challenge with the Undisputed Era. But instead of being a 4-on-2 match, the New Day get help from Heavy Machinery. So it's the New Day and the Heavy Machinery versus the Undisputed Era. This is an match. Kofi Kingston gets worked over. He tags in Heavy Machinery. They start to clean house. The usual chaos happens, as with most of these matches. Roderick Strong gets the knee on Otis, gets the pin. After the match, Roderick Strong walks up the ramp, faces off with Shinsuke Nakamura. AJ Styles comes flying out of nowhere, attacks both Nakamura and Strong. Sami Zayn grabs a chair and lays out both AJ Styles and Roderick Strong, and Nakamura and Zayn bolt out of there. After the commercial, AJ and the OC are up on top of the ramp. They run down their competitors and run down Chicago. Then we have Daniel Bryan coming out. He says, why did Daniel Bryan summon Bray Wyatt? We have a video package showing The Fiend attacking and Miz TV. Daniel Bryan calls out Bray Wyatt just to clear the air. The lights go out. After a second, they come back on. Daniel Bryan's the only one sitting in the ring. Then the Miz comes out. He gets in the ring, starts yelling at Daniel Bryan. He tells him that he can't wait for Bray Wyatt to pick him apart. And then he slaps Daniel Bryan. And we just fucking cut straight to a commercial. What the fuck? Great. Wonderful timing, WWE. We come back to the commercial with the Miz versus Daniel Bryan already in progress. This is a pretty good match. Both the Miz and Bryan had a good bit of offense. Daniel Bryan goes to finish off the Miz. The lights go out. And then the Fiend shows up right where the Miz was. Fiend gets up, hits Daniel Bryan with the mandible claw. And it sounds like they replaced that ear-piercing screech with a low droning sound. I don't know. I like the droning sound over the screech because, really, that was probably screwing up with somebody's ears. Then we got Shayna Baszler coming out. She calls out Bayley. Only this time, Bayley comes out from behind and attacks Shayna Baszler. They fight for about a cup of tea, and then Bayley bolts out of there. Then we come to our main event, Roman Reigns, Shorty G, and Mustafa Ali versus King Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. This is an okay match. It's the usual chaos with the multi-man bullshit. Corbin hit the end of days on Ali, got the pin. After the match, Baron Corbin was about to hit Ali with the scepter, but ends up eating a spear from Roman Reigns. Rollins' music hits, and Seth leads Team Raw down to the ring through the crowd. Rollins gets into the ring, squares up with Roman Reigns. They start to fighting. Team Raw starts laying out everybody at ringside. Then Braun Strowman comes running out, leading the SmackDown locker room. After a big brawl breaks out there, we cut to backstage with Shawn Michaels and Triple H and Road Dogg riding the DX Jeep, leading Team NXT out to the ring. Once they hit the ring, an uber fight fucking breaks out, bodies flying everywhere. Braun Strowman squares up with Keith Lee, and just as it really starts getting interesting and they start fighting, SmackDown ends. I have to give it to WWE, they have excellent timing in cutting off things once they start getting interesting. For the Survivor Series Go Home show, SmackDown was alright. I understand they're trying to build up to the pay-per-view. There was a lot of talking segments. I will give them a little bit of leeway for that. But they really could have stepped up with the matches, though. I think the only really decent match tonight was the first one tonight with Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks. Everything else kind of just fell below wayside from that one. But that'll do it for this episode of SmackDown Review. I'll be back on Sunday for the Survivor Series results. But leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's SmackDown, what you thought about this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.